Okay guys, so today we're learning about percent of change. So percent of change is just a little bit different. We're still going to be working with a percent proportion, but we're changing our proportion on the left side. So let's look at what the difference is in this type of problem. So for example, this top problem, it says, there was a sale at Hollister and Corey received a $12 discount for a shirt that was originally priced at $30. What percent did Corey save? So in a situation like that, we would use our part over whole equals percent over 100. So we do 12 over 30 equals x over 100. So this is a type of problem that we've already done. This new type of problem is just a tad different. It says there was a sale at Hollister and Corey paid $18 for a shirt that was originally priced at $30. What was the percent discount that he received? So instead, now we're talking not about a part and a whole, but we're talking about that amount, that total amount changing. So the price was originally $30 and now it's $18. So let's look at our notes for today. So our first steps for percent of change, number one, you're going to calculate the amount of change. Okay, so if you remember, change up on our wall is to subtract. So to find the change, you're going to take your big number minus your small number. Okay? And then you're going to set up a proportion. Okay? So here is our proportion. So it's going to be change over original. So change, like I said, is the big number minus the small number, and it's going to go over the original. So in the problem, guys, we are going to practice always putting a star by our original because that's going to help us be more successful. And then we have percent over 100. So let's go ahead and dig in and get started. So number one says Amber got a raise and her hourly wage increased from $10 to $11.50. What is the percent increase? So first of all, we know it's increase because it's going from 10 to $11.50. So it's getting bigger. And our original amount is always our starting amount, our first amount, okay? So our first amount is $10. So I'm going to put a star next to my original, and then $11.50 is my new amount. So we're going to set up our proportion, and it says here, what is the percent increase? So we're looking for our percent. So I'm going to do x over 100. And then on top is not just one number. You have to find the change. So the change is the big number. So $11.50 is larger minus the small number. So $11.50 minus 10. And it's all going to go over the original amount because it says from 10 to 11.5. So we started at 10. We ended at 11.5. So 10 is going to be our original, okay? So now that we have our proportion set up, you can go ahead and do the subtraction. So $11.50 minus 10 is $1.50 over 10 equals x over 100. So now we should be pretty practiced by now. When we have a proportion, we're going to go ahead and do the cross product. So 10x equals, and then 100 times 150. So if you remember, to multiply times 100, so times 100, you're going to move your decimal to the right 2 places. So 150, 1, 2. So 150. Okay, and then we're going to divide by 10, divide by 10. So just like we did with dividing by 100, we move the decimal 2 places because it has 2 zeros. So to divide by 10, we're going to move the decimal 1 place. So X equals 15, okay? So 15 is our percent increase. All right, and if you're confused about me just moving the decimal, you can just divide. So 10 goes into 15 one time, 10, we have 50, 10 times 50 is 50, okay? All right, so it's not too difficult. The only difference is the change piece. So let's try the next one together. It says the price of a pair of shoes increases from 60 to 72. So from 60, meaning that's my starting point, to $72. What is the percent increase? To the nearest percent. Okay, so again, we're going to put change, and we always have to calculate change. So the big number, 72, minus the small number, over original. Original is 60. That was my starting point. Percent, we need to know the percent, so X over 100. So now we're going to do our cross product, okay? Oh, wait, let me simplify my change. So 72 minus 60. So 60, 70 is 10, and then 2. So that's 12. So 12 over 60 equals X over 100. So now we're going to do our cross product. So 60X equals 12 times 100. So I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2 places. So 1200. Going to divide by 60. Divide by 60. Sorry. These cancel, the 60 and the 60. So 12 divided by 60. X equals, so 1200 divided by 60. We should know this. So 60 times 2 is 120. We got to fill in a 0. So 60 times 20 is 1200. So X is 60. So it's a 20% increase for the price of shoes to go from $60 to $72. All right, so let's keep practicing. So number 3, it says if the price of a purse was reduced from $60 to $45, by what percent was the price reduced? So yet again, I'm looking for my percent. So percent, I don't know. And it started from 600 or 60, sorry, and went to 45. So 60 is my original. Always put your star by your original. So that I know is going to go on the bottom. 100 goes here. I'm going to do the big number minus the small number. So I want you guys to go ahead and press pause and solve this one on your own. Okay guys, so I went ahead and got 15 over 60. So when I do my cross product, 60x equals 1500. I'm dividing by 60. So I know we talked about moving our decimal when we divide and multiply by 100. I am going to go ahead and show you a trick that if there are 2 zeros, we can cancel them this way. So it's like we divided the top number by 10 and the bottom number by 10. We moved both of them, the decimals, one place. So now I have 150 divided by 6. And I know that some of us, that's a huge difference because then it's a lot easier to divide. Okay. So X is 25%. So 25% reduction in price, okay? All right, so the next problem says, Officer Escamilla wrote 16 tickets for traffic violations last week, but only 10 tickets this week. What is the percent decrease? Okay, so again, he wrote 16 tickets for violations last week. So that's going to be my original amount. That was the first situation. And only 10 this week. So we use our proportion, change over original. So change 16 minus 10 over my original. So 16, that's what the one I put a star by, equals X. We're looking for what is the percent decrease over 100. And we know it's decreased because it's getting smaller. My original amount was bigger than the second. So again, we're going to go ahead and press pause and solve it on your own. All right, I went ahead and calculated my percent of change. And when I divided 600 divided by 16, I got 37.5. So I'm going to go ahead and round that to the closest percent. So about a 38% decrease in the number of tickets he wrote. All right, down to our last two examples. So this example says a town's population went from 25,000 to 45,000 in 15 years. What was the percent of change? Okay, so from 25,000, so that's my starting point, to 45,000. So we're starting at 25, we're going to 45. So 25,000 to 45,000. Is that an increase or a decrease? We're getting bigger, right? So that's going to be a percent increase. Okay, so now let's set up our proportion. So I know my original is going to go in the bottom left. And I have percent over 100. What is the percent? I don't know the percent over 100. And then on top is my change. So my big, so 45,000 minus my small, 25,000. Okay. So 45,000 minus 25,000. So 25,000, 35, 45,000. So 20,000 over my original equals X over 100. So again here, look at all these. I'm going to divide by 10, divide by 100, divide by 1,000. Now I have 20 over 25. If I divided both numbers by 1,000, that's essentially what I did. Now I can do my cross product. So 25x equals 20 times 100. So when I multiply times 100, I move my decimal 2 places. So 2,000, and then divide by 25, divide by 25, cancel 2,000, divide by 25. It doesn't go into 2 or 20, but it goes into 200. Well, it goes into 100 4 times. So it goes into 208 times. That gives me 200, but I have to fill in to the decimal. So X is an 80%, and we said increase. Okay. All right, last example problem. It says Lisa invested in stocks at $28 per share. She sold them at $24 per share. What was the percent of change? Is it a percent increase or decrease? Okay. So she invested at 28 and then she sold them. So she has to buy them before she can sell them. So when she bought them as her original, she sold them at $24.50. So if we go from $28 to $24.50, is that getting bigger or smaller? Smaller. All right, y'all set up your proportion and solve. Press pause. Okay, so once I set up my proportion, so change, so big minus small over original. Original was 28. I did my cross product, so 28x equals 3.50 times 100. So I moved my decimal 2 places when I multiply by 100 to the right. So then I did 350 divided by 28, and I got 12.5, or about a 13% decrease, right? We went from 28 to 24.50. So unfortunately, she lost money on that deal.